Okay.
All right, welcome everybody. I am so glad you have chosen to spend the next probably 45 minutes, wouldn't you say, Rob, with us? 45 minutes. We've got a lot of content here, but Rob is going to, in his trademark way, go deep on some areas and fly through some others, and we'll have questions and we'll ask and answer them as we go. So let me turn it over to you, Rob. And I know I'm looking forward to hearing you explain how we're going to turn Google Docs into powerful interactive work papers.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, welcome this morning, and let's just kind of jump right into it. Just a little bit about me. I don't really like to talk about myself, but what I want to mention is that I bought my own CPA firm with no technology, and I found out that the more technology I rolled into my firm, I ended up being able to, duplicate what I was wanting to do. When I found that I allowed staff to kind of create their own work papers or just kind of go off on their own, people would do things differently. They wouldn't do things consistently. And it was really, really tough to train other staff because people would come in, it's hit 3 or 4 different ways, and they got very, very confused. So the more I created process and built process and knowledge into work papers, the easier it was to bring on new people. And that's really what this is all about. It's about taking everything that's in your head, where you know where stuff is, and whether it's about sales tax technology or income tax technology, or how to do a sales tax. Everybody in this room knows how to do a sales tax, but you don't know how my firm does it. You don't know where stuff is stored. You don't know stuff about my clients that takes months and maybe sometimes years to learn. So there's really 3 parts to knowledge about doing a sales tax return: the basics, which everybody knows, firm specific stuff, and then client specific stuff. And those last 2 is what takes so long to be able to bring new staff on board. And that's today what I'm hoping. Well, I'm not hoping, I know this works, that if you follow these work papers, you can embed those last 2 pieces into your work papers, and therefore you're going to be able to scale and delegate a lot easier. So let's go ahead and get started.
That's the key, isn't it, Rob? Is being able to push that work down into the newer and lesser experienced people in the firm, so that the firm owner can have more time to advise clients, more time to grow the business, or just more time off.
Yeah, and when
I
I
think that's
found
the big benefit, right? Like, I want to make sure everybody really understands that's the prize, right? That's the prize we're going for.
yeah, and that really is, and I've done it both ways. I did it where I was people dependent. And even though I had really great people that have been doing it forever, and I could just push them off and let them do their own way, when I would bring in new staff and they would go from person to person, it was so hard for new staff to follow 3 or 4 different ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And then I hit a wall. And then when I moved to this documentation system, then I was able to really, really scale.
Yep.
So this is kind of the agenda where we're going to kind of go with, but let's just kind of get into it. One thing of note, all of the templates I'm going to be showing you today, we're going to give you a hyperlink where you're going to be able to go in and download all these different templates right here. So you don't have to create this from scratch. You're going to be able to take this, download it, and then start using it this afternoon, okay, within your firm. Okay, so we will give that to you at the end of the presentation. Okay, but this right here is what I'm calling my Google Doc SuperForms. Okay, each one of these forms right here, this one right here is my work paper for sales tax. So this is how I document my sales tax right here. This is how I document my bank reconciliations or credit card reconciliations. And this is how I even document my 1040s right here. These look extremely complex, but they're very, very simple. Okay, but they're highly custom. It's amazing, because what's happening here is they're unbelievably customized. Look how much I've customized these for each particular client and each particular process, the way I do things. It's all inclusive. Everything you need is right here. Every place you need to hyperlink and go to do a bank reconciliation or a sales tax return or an income tax return, it's all right here. It's either on this page or one click away. Okay, it's program agnostic. You can basically use this technology, whether using different websites, as long as you can hyperlink to it, you can basically use this process. And then lastly, it's really, really, really simple technology. If you can do screen clips, and if you can do cut, copy, and paste, you can build these workshops. It's very, very simple.
And you also need to understand how to insert a table.
Yes, and that's yes.
And that's it, right?
That's it. So yeah, so basically
I want people to be super relaxed during this. I don't want them to feel all stressed out thinking this looks complicated, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I want people to think, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so simple.
I want you guys to think about if you were reviewing this, okay, like this sales tax return right here. There is the raw data for the reports. This is the calculations based off of this raw data. These are the sales tax return proving that this number right here agrees to this number. Here's the payment. Here's verification that the payment was actually made. Okay, everything you need to review it is right there in one screenshot. It's all right there. You're not having to open up anything. It's laid out on a platter, so you can just come in there and do it. A lot of times before I implemented this process, I didn't review things because it took me almost longer to do it or to review it than it was to do it. So a lot of times things got missed because it wasn't reviewed, or something obvious like the payment wasn't made. Well, guess what? If you don't have the screenshot right there, I don't know if the payment was made. I don't care if you checked it off. Unless I see this, I don't trust that the payment was made. Okay, so everything is right here. So for the preparer, every hyperlink that they need to go to is going to be hyperlinked right here. Whether it's a state login where the password is, the sheets filed to do the calculations, the 2 QuickBooks liability reports where all the tax returns are stored, and this right here goes to the Lisio information queue, the files tab, where the client actually uploads all their exemptions. So every place you need to go is right here. Okay, I want you to think about this. Every one of you knows how to do a sales tax return, but would you know where every one of these things is located in my firm? Well, you don't need to know. You just come here and click it, and it takes you right to where you need to go. Okay, we've got a status section and notes. So down here, we have notes that are going to carry over month to month to month, make sure that we don't miss anything. And here we can keep track of our status and add any notes for both the preparer and the reviewer right here. And these are actually drop downs right here. So you can actually embed a drop down inside Google Doc form. And then you have all the details. Everything right here, one big picture. You can see everything right there in one view. And think about this from the reviewer. Everything you need is right here. Hyperlinks. If you want to go somewhere and see it, you're 1 click away. Okay, so just for the benefits that the preparer has, you have them too. But everything you need to see is right here. Okay, here's the bank reconciliation. The same benefits apply. Hyperlinks to everywhere we need to go. Status, notes, details. Like right here, this right here was where I had to ask a question on a client about some uncleared items. So this link right here links me to the Lisio message on where it was actually asked. So I can see, has it been answered by the client yet or not? I don't have to wait for an email. I don't have to ask somebody. I can click it and go right to it. So it's all inclusive. Everything I need to do it is right there.
Rob, we have a question.
Yep.
Is it okay if I just kind of ask them as they come in?
No, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's Veronica is asking, does this require everyone to be on the Google the Google system? So it would be, right? But you also have this for OneNote as well if they're on the Microsoft side. Yeah,
no, basically, what I'm doing here is that you really want people in the Google workspace, which is basically, yes, there's a little bit of money there. But the way I basically look at it is it's the price of a coffee. And if you don't give the people the right tools, you're not going to be successful. And at the end of the day, you could share it, I think, with someone outside of your system, though, because you can share a Google Doc, right? Oh yeah, no, so you can definitely share it externally. Yeah, you can share it externally. But at the end of the day, sometimes when people come in there and they want to kind of do something a little bit, because I always tell my clients, like, look, just get the right tools, because once you have the right tools, it's going to save you so much time and it's going to work. And then not only, and Allison's correct. What I'm doing here, if you can do the exact same thing in Microsoft OneNote. So I actually have a corresponding course where I'm doing this exact same thing in
Yeah.
Microsoft.
It's the twin. There's the
Yes.
twin. He's done it for both of the systems.
Yeah, whether you use Microsoft or Google or both, you can basically do this theory of creating a grid with all the information.
Great question though, Veronica. Thank you.
Okay, and then also if you do tax returns, we can do the tax returns. You can lay out every single document in the exact order of the tax return. And not only that, you can tell where you're at because of using color codes, and you can keep track of notes in this first column that'll carry over year to year, whether it's form specific. Hey, don't forget the local withholding because it's really easy to overlook, or hey, this gets entered on screen such and such, or hey, this is where, this is how we handle some of these telephone expenses. All that information can be stored right there. But once again, you're one hyperlink away. So here you can come here, click here. It takes you right to the place where the client's going to give you all the documents. So as the documents come in, you click this link, you come right over here, you see them, you screen clip them and drop them right into the grid. Okay. You've got a place to put all your notes that you don't normally, where would you put? If the client called you up and you gave you some information, where do you put that? Well, guess what? We have a spot right here where you can put that. Okay. In Google Docs, you can create outlines. So by using, and one of the other things too is not only am I going to give you the handout so you can duplicate all these very, very quickly and get up and running, but we're going to invite you into the Grove. It's a brand new community where we're going to give you step-by-step videos and courses that are going to teach you everything that I'm showing you right now. What I used to do is kind of show this. I used to show you this in this video. I'm not going to do that today because instead of showing you a bunch of how-to stuff that you're not going to remember, I'm going to send you over to the Grove. You're going to be able to go through and watch exactly what you need to watch to learn what you need to learn, and then review it until you've got it. So it's going to be not a lot of how-to in this video. It's more why, what, and stuff like that. The how-to, we'll take care of that later. Okay. But you've got a summary outline where you can just click on this and then hop exactly to, instead of having to scroll up and down, just click on it and it'll take you right to where you need to go. And then also with this one right here, even though you may have a picture right here, what's really nice and what you want to think about is that may the reviewer want to see the detail or the original document. Because one of the things that we're doing here, okay, one of the theories of really what we're doing here is this idea of information aggregation. Okay, instead of leaving information in documents, what we're doing is we're extracting the information from the document, from the PDF, and putting it where it belongs. It's the same way. If you get Amazon box, if you get stuff from Amazon, you do not leave it on your front porch in the box, because then you have to sit there, and to find that piece of information, you have to go find the right box, open the box, and get the information. Here, the box comes, you take the information out, and you put it right where it belongs. Now, if you do need to go back to the document, if you do need to see the details for some reason, you can always hyperlink back to the document. So this theory of virtual aggregation is we've cut out the picture of the W-2 and placed it right here where we needed it. And this works for any piece of information, anything in a document, anything in a PDF, anything in an email. But for some reason, if you think the reviewer may want to see it, just put a hyperlink, copy the hyperlink and paste it right there. It's the best of both worlds. You're looking at just what you need. Nine times out of 10, that's all you need. But for some reason, if you need this, click this and boom, you're right there. Not even a second. You're right to the detail where you need. No more browsing around to find everything. It's right there. Okay. And once again, within Google Docs, you can use comments to keep track of all of your comments and notes and things that need to be fixed on the return, which is built in. It's beautiful. So it's, just make a comment for every item that's incorrect or needs adjustment. And
you can also assign it to people. You can add people.
Yep.
Like you could add Allison. Hey, tax exempt interest needs to be moved.
Yes, and that's exactly right. Or hey, can you please contact, whatever. All that information is basically right there. But that's really what the key here is, these interactive work documents. Everything is in one spot. Okay. And then I added one more work paper to this one. Here, I brought in the month-end checklist. So with this one right here, you could actually have a Google Doc that looks like this. You could go through, here is every single task that needs to be done for the month end, right down here. Okay. And the status of everything. Not only can you see the big picture, but these are hyperlinks to the actual functions inside QBO. So if I click this right there, it's going to take me to the bank feeds. If I click this, it'll take me to the end deposit reports. This will take me to the exact reconciliation thing. So everywhere I need to go, I'm one click away, saving both the preparer and reviewer, and more importantly, a brand new person. Think how easy it would be to train a brand new person. Oh, you just follow this list, you click on this, and then it takes you right where you need to go. Very, very simple to bring on new people. Okay, you can see the status of every single month. Okay, and once a month's completely done, you can hide it or delete it. Okay, but you can see because each month end doesn't always close. Sometimes stuff straggles and stuff, kind of carries over month to month. But right here, you can see where you're at in every single month for every single item that needs to be done. Here, you can have hyperlinks to the actual reports. So this one right here, you can actually click this, and that'll actually open up the bank rec work paper. That'll open the sales tax work paper. So you just, once again, if you want to see the details, click on it, and then you can go see it. And then you can come down here and basically have tasks that you can check off. And this right here shows that this one's been assigned to me, and this one right here has been assigned to Allison. And then down here, one of the other things too that you want to think about, because what I'm talking about here is this idea of virtual aggregation. Create your own firm internet. Okay, why does the internet work? Because everything's in one place and it's all hyperlinked together. So right here, if I'm asking Allison to review this transaction, well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it super simple for her because I'm looking at the transaction when I'm asking her to do this. So all I did was go in there and copy the URL and then paste it right here for her. So when she has to come in there and actually review this, she doesn't have to find it. She just clicks on this and then it takes her right to where she needs to go, saving her how much time. And then if you put yourself in that position, wouldn't you want to be pretty much just, everything laid out on a platter so you can just get through it as quickly as possible? That is what we're trying to accomplish. And it doesn't take that much longer. You're already there. Just copy and paste. All you got to do is slightly tweak what you're doing. And this will all basically just work. Okay. And the way you add this, insert, building blocks. And then I would look at this in Google Docs, go to the insert ribbon, go to building blocks and see all the different options. There's a bunch of really cool things. But all I did with this one is start with the review tracker and then basically copy some stuff and tweak some of these. It was that simple. Okay. So once again, these look really complex, don't they? They really, really do. But just like any magic trick, okay, once you know the secret behind the magic trick, it doesn't seem so daunting, does it? When you cut a lady in half, that's all this is. It looks really impressive. It looks like you're really cutting somebody apart. Like, how could that possibly be? But when you pull the curtain aside, it's just two people. And it's very simple. That's all it is. And that's really what this is. This looks extremely complex, but let's pull back the curtain and see what you actually have to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into this. Okay, and really 3 simple steps. One is you're going to go into Google Docs, and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to File, Page Setup, Pageless, and then click OK. What that's going to do, instead of creating a Google Doc where it has that 8.5 by 11 break every time, and it breaks up information, and then all of a sudden you have 3 inches between, especially if you have a table, it breaks the table in half. You got part of the table up here and you got part of the table down below, and it wastes so much space. Well, guess what? Life does not come in 8.5 by 11 sizes. It's not a one size fit all. This world is not. That's 8.5 by 11 is like a 4-letter word. We have taken information and put every piece of information in 8.5 by 11 boxes, and it doesn't work. And that's why for the last 40 years, ever since we started doing documents and save us all this time, we've been trying to manage documents, and look where it's gotten us. It's complete and utter chaos. It really is. You cannot manage documents. You need to manage information. Take the information out of the documents and put it where it belongs. And you start this by turning an 8.5 by box into one big, long, fluid work paper. It's that simple. And then you can go through it and set it as default. So I've actually gone in, whenever I create a new Google Doc, it automatically sets it to a full page because I hate 8.5 by 11s. Okay. Then we create a simple table. So we just go in there and create a vertical or horizontal table. And you just go insert table and then do the size. Pageless, insert simple table. Okay. So you've got a table like that or a table like that. And it really depends on how you want to lay out your information. Okay. Then we're going to come in and we're going to want to possibly add headers. So in this case right here, we're going to have header 1, header 2, header 3, maybe do a little shading, just kind of get some visual breakout in the table and then put our data. So it's going to be kind of header data, header data, header data, or we can have headers here with our data there, but we're going to want to give a label. So we know what we're going to label the boxes. Okay. So that way we know what goes in each box. Okay. Then we're going to do some possible subdividing, because just like if you have one big drawer, you throw everything in one big drawer, it becomes a junk drawer. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create custom spots for information. So if this, so right down here, if I need 2 places for my Schedule C, I'm going to create 2 boxes. Now, why would I need 2 places for my Schedule C? Well, first of all, maybe I want to put 2 different pieces of information side by side that relate to each other. So in this case right here, they've got the interest paid right there and handwritten notes. But I want to see that exact number sitting right over there. So I don't have to look on a different document. I don't have to go anywhere. I just want to be able to see, yes, that number right there agrees to that number right there. I'm good to go. Boom, I'm running. So in this case right here, we're going to put side by side information that relates to each other. This relates to this, even though these were in 2 separate documents. So what I did was I virtually cut them out and taped them side by side to make it easier for the preparer and the reviewer. Okay. And then also sometimes I may have something that's really, really long. Okay. And instead of having something really, really long, I wanted to put it side by side, so it didn't take up so much white space. Okay. So there's a couple different ways you can basically, break stuff up. Okay. But that's it. That's the entire trick. This is a horizontal table with hyperlinks. This is a horizontal table with some, this one right here didn't have headers because you can kind of tell what it is. These have headers. This is a vertical table with header data, header data, header data, header data. That's all it is. So that's all this is a simple table. Okay. Table. That's it. It's that simple. And then basically all you do is come in and drop in hyperlinks. Because here's the thing. Think of how many times you've had to browse out to all these different places. Now you may know where they're at, but try delegating that to somebody brand new. How difficult will for them to learn all these places? Versus you browse out for one final time, you copy the URL, and you paste it here for everybody else until the end of time. Think of how much time savings and energy that's going to actually do for you. Okay. And then all you do is do a simple screen clip. It's like you're looking at it. You're looking at exactly what you need. So all you do is do a screen clip and drop it right into there. Screen clip, paste, screen clip, paste. It's that simple. It takes a fraction of a second. Now, if you're still doing both, if you're still doing it the old way and the new way, so it's double the work. Well, it's not even double the work, but if you're doing things twice, then it's not going to work. You got to just say, this is the way we're going to do it. And then once you do, the amount of time savings you'll have is amazing, especially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So let's actually take a look at exactly what we're talking about here. Okay. So right here is,
and
yep,
Rob, sorry, I just wanted to tell you, I'm scanning the participants. It looks like we've got a mix of people who use Liscio and don't use Liscio.
Okay.
So we'll want to be able to show kind of both. I think for the Liscio users, let's definitely show them how they can use that as the kind of the vacuum, and then for everybody else, they'll get the concept.
Yep. No, I've got that in my detail. So for example, so down here, these are the handouts of that I'm going to basically be giving you right here. Okay, so these are going to be the examples that you're going to be able to go in and copy and download and make your own. Okay, but let's actually jump in to, and another thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that under Google, I have all of my favorite places like My Drive, Starred, Workplace, templates. I do a lot of templates. If you're not using templates, make sure you learn. Well, come join the Grove and you can learn about templates. Okay, but down here though, so if I'm going in here into my clients, so for example, down here, I've got Acme Inc. Okay, there's my month end checklist right here, where I can kind of come in here and click everything. And what I was talking about, where if I click this right here for the bank feeds, if I click this right here, it said invoices, but it links me right here to the bank feeds. So right there, boom, it took me right there. Yep. Thank you very much. And that right there. So every one of these hyperlinks is taking me exactly where I need to go. Here's where I check my QuickBooks Online. Everything I need is right here. Then when I'm done to change the checklist, all I can do is come in here and either mark it not started, progress, under review, or review. If I want to change these, guess what? Super simple. All I got to do is come in here and then either delete a row, I can change the template name, or add new options. It's that simple to create a drop down right inside of Google Docs. Okay, and to add it, insert, drop down. There you go. So what I'm doing here with the month-end checklist, I've hyperlinked everywhere I need to go. I've given both the preparer and reviewer. You can basically see it. So if it's basically in progress under review, that means the reviewer needs to review it. So the reviewer would come in and look just at the blue stuff, or needs to, maybe this should be needs to be reviewed. If under review means, is not quite clear, then you can change it to needs to be reviewed. Okay. But so basically the reviewer would come in, anything blue, they're going to come in, and then once they've approved it, they just mark it green. And that way you can see exactly where they're at. When I was talking about the hyperlinks for this right here, I click this, I can view it or click on it, and it'll go in and actually open up that work paper so I can look at the details directly. So everything is kind of hyperlinked right from this one document here. Down here, I can have some other tasks kind of outside of the stuff right here. I can just hit enter, add another task, and then come in here this quickly and then assign it that easy. So I can come down here and go Allison right here. Give her a due date. And if I say assign a task, she will get it. And I can share this with her. She'll already have access to it, and then hit share. And then she will get an email. Okay.
He keeps doing this to me on demos. And I've got all these reminders.
And Allison, you got a lot. You're really behind.
I do. I have a lot, and I'm really behind. So I think you're gonna have to help me understand how to clear all these reminders you're giving me. But the cool thing is, folks, is that you actually get, as the kind of the employee in this situation, or the task assignee, it just becomes part of your workflow, like you're seamless. Like I see these reminders on the top of my Google Calendar. It's like, hey, Allison, don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. And you can just quickly clear them as you do them. So depending on how you're using the Google Productivity Suite in your office, it's very inclusive.
Yep.
Right.
And then right over here, one thing that I would like to talk about, and once again, everything that I'm talking about, you're going to be able to go to the Grove and you're going to see videos that show you exactly step by step how I'm actually creating this stuff. So don't worry about the how-to right now. How-to will come later. But over here, the outline. This is so by going up here, okay, you can see this outline right here. For the longest time, I never understood. I just thought these headings were just quick ways to change the font. That's all I thought it was. I thought it was just the font. But if you actually title things headings 1, 2, 3, or whatever, it will actually go through and create an outline, which is amazing. So I can come in here, click this, and it'll take me right to where I need to go. So if you use the headings down here, instead of just formatting it over here, you can do some really, really cool things by doing outlines in a Google Doc. And you're going to want to basically do that too. Okay. But let's go in there and take a look at sales tax. Okay. So let's just I'm going to step back and kind of show you the process from start to finish. Kind of like if we were going to basically do a sales tax return. Okay. So I would come into Acme. I'm going to basically change this to list because I like lists better. So then right here, I've got a sales tax Acme template. Okay. Now I've got a firm template, but this one I've already customized for Acme. Okay. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. So all I'm going to do is right click, make a copy. And now it's going to come through, make a copy right there. I'll just rename it. Oh, I'm going to come down here and go 2209 sales tax. So now I've basically copied my template and it's right there. When I open it up, what do I see? Okay, well, all these hyperlinks are very specific. Now, some of them are very generic and they apply to all clients, like sales tax liability, but other ones are very specific to this client. And the very first time I started this, I went in and added the hyperlinks. And to add a hyperlink, all you do is highlight what you want, right click, insert link, and paste the URL, and it's that simple. Okay, but let's take a look at how quickly we can get around. So on this one right here, state login, I click this, boom, it takes me right to the login for the state of Florida's sales tax right there. Okay, now the password, the client keeps the password. I want the client to have the password. Okay, because sometimes they'll go in there and they'll change it and they won't tell me. So what we're doing here, okay, instead of sending emails back and forth or having to call them or text them or anything like this, we're actually using Lisio. Now, if you're using Lisio, great. If you're not using Lisio, that's okay. But what Lisio, just real quick, what Lisio does, it takes all communication between you and the client, whether it's documents, tasks, or messages, and puts it all in one place. So everybody in your firm and everybody in their firm, it's all basically right there, just kind of the idea of getting things done, it's all in one place. But right here, what we suggest people do is that they put their passwords right in here under the logins. So then that way the client can come in here, put the logins right here, and they can just add as many logins as they need right down here. And then my staff just clicks right here. And if the client changed the password, it's right there. If they don't, they would just come into task and say, hey, can you please update the password? And then the client would get a ding on their phone saying, hey, can you change the password? They're going to see it because it's actually on their mobile phone. They'll go in there, they'll change it, and then you've got the password. Secure, safe, and everything like that. So that's where that is right there. Then we've got I'm going to call it an Excel sheet because it's just, to me, it's sheets, but it's an Excel sheet, but for Google. But right here, we got the link right here. So this is the hyperlink that you're going to use to come in here. Now you can come in here and just overwrite this each month, and then take a screenshot for a picture of it, or you can add a multiple tab. Okay, and if you want to keep each tab, you can. But to me, what I do is I just come in, change the stuff in blue. To me, formulas are black, things you change in blue. So by virtually looking at this, you know exactly what you should change and what you shouldn't change. Okay, so I like to make things beyond obvious. Make it simple. Blue means change, black means don't change. It's that simple. And then come in here, we can take a screen clipping of it. And then guess what we're going to do with that screen clipping? We're going to just drop the screen clipping right in there. Okay, this spot right there is where that goes. Okay, and then we've got sales tax liability, summary, returns, and information queue right across there. So the way you would actually do this is you'd come in here, you'd start down here, click this, and this actually would take you to the raw data for the report. Now, this is funny. I've never seen QuickBooks do this, but they're actually 2 months behind. Normally, if you come in here, they've kind of pushed up the information, but they haven't done it for the last 2 months. So the last information on the online version in QuickBooks is actually August, but we'll just assume that there's information.
This is a sample file,
Yeah,
right? He's in the sample company, folks. Don't worry, we're not showing real stuff.
Yeah, no, normally they've updated, they've rolled it forward, but they haven't done it for the last 2 months. But basically what we do here is all I would do is come in, hit a screen button, hit my screen clip button, come in, take this information right there. We'll assume there's information there. Okay. Copy it and then come right into here and then paste it. Boom, right there. So I've now got that information. I don't need to print it to a PDF. It's all the information I need is right there. And if I want to go back to the thing, I'm 1 click away. I can now click this one and do the same thing too. Once again, 1 click away takes me right to the report that I need. I hit basically print screen. I screen clip the information, copy it, and then drop it right where it belongs. Just like that. Okay, and if I want to make it bigger, I can make it bigger like that. Okay. Now I come in here, I do the same thing here. This link and this link are the same thing, but I can come in here, click this right here, come into it, make my changes. Let's say this is I'm doing August, so this is 9/30, 2022. I come in there, I make some changes, yada, yada, yada. Once again, I just come in, screen clip just the information I need. So I'm virtually cutting out. I'm actually going back to the 80s, what we used to do in the 80s. And cut everything out and then tape it right where it belonged. Okay. And then paste that right there. So now I've got the source or the raw, the calculations right there. I click this, I go out, I log in, I do the return. I screen clip some information right there. Password, this right here links me to where all my sales tax returns are saved. So I'm going to actually save the PDF. I'm going to actually save the tax return into a PDF because it's multiple pages and everything like this. So when I basically download the statement, I'm going to save it into this directory right here. So it's basically sitting right there. But if you actually want to go in there and actually see the entire statement, guess what? You're just one click away. Now, what I want to do, okay, so let's kind of come back up a step here. So during this right here, oh, wait, make sure you back out the exempt sales. Ooh, wait a minute. Did I do that? I don't know if I did that or not. So that's why having this information right here is really helpful. So now down in here, what we've got here is I've actually got this, the client, because we're using Liscio. Now, whatever you're going to want to link this to wherever your client's sending you information. So in here, if you're using Liscio, boom, it takes you right to the Files tab. Now, what you want to do with the Files tab, now I haven't done this because this is a demo, but as you progress each item out of the queue, you want to go in there. So for example, if this was the information that they sent us right here, or if this was the information that they sent us, we would open it up, look at it. You know, we'd come in here, look at it, take the information that we need, and then archive it. Because once you archive it, okay, once you come in here and then basically archive it, it's going to take it out of the Files tab. That way you know you've dealt with it, okay? But that one's right there. And then have a place where if you've asked the client a question, how are you going to keep track of those questions, okay? Make sure you have a place to say if there's a question for the client, one, that you've asked it, and two, what's the status of it? In this case right here, if you're using Liscio, I can actually basically link out right to where all the tasks are. And if there's a specific task, I can actually link to that specific task right there. I keep minimizing it instead of clicking that over there. Okay. And then finally, when we deliver the statement, okay, you're going to want to go through and prove that you delivered it. In this case right here, I'm going to come in. I've got this linked to different places. And if you've noticed, I've actually linked these to different places to exactly where I need to go. I'm not linking you to just the generic website. I'm linking you to the exact task right here that basically saying, look, this is exactly where you need to go. So you're 90% of the way there. You just got to come in and fill it out.
Yeah, and when Rob and I were discussing this when he was first developing this process, and we were thinking about when is it really important for you to tag documents for clients, and when is it okay not to? And we came to the agreement that if you want the client to be able to find it later, like a sales tax return is an important document, you would tag it. You would tag it sales tax return, tax. You put all those in there, all those tags in there, so the client can look at it later. And a sales tax return they probably would need to find, right? So basically that's what Rob is doing there, is tagging it. But if it's something that's just kind of flotsam and they don't need to find it later, then you don't need to do the tags. So
basically what I did here was all I did was come in, and this is how I'm going to deliver it to the client, click upload. And now the client just got the return right there. And what I'm going to do here, okay, is create task that sends the client the file. But what I want to do, okay, and here's the thing, whether it's Liscio, whether it's QuickBooks, whatever it is, you always want to link back to the original source, creating hyperlinks, creating the internet, interweaving all of your work papers. This is huge. This is critical in making it easy for the next person, because all I have to do is, it takes me 2 seconds. I just click back into it. I copy the URL, Control-C copy, okay? And then I just come right back to here. And then right here, I've got a place, client
right
delivery.
there.
Right there, right there, I've got a space for everything. So all I do is highlight that right there, right click, go down here to insert link, paste that link in and click apply.
Done.
So now when Allison comes in, okay, I would have had a screen clipping here. I'd have had a screen clipping here. I skipped that part, but you get the point. She can come in, look at the raw data, look at my calculations, link to the document, see the calculations. And if she wants to see that I actually sent it, not that I just checked off and said I did it, she can click right here and go to the exact transaction where I sent it. Yeah. And if there was any other comments that the client made, she would see it. So, I mean, think of how quickly, Allison, you could review this. Everything is laid out on a silver platter.
Yeah, and if we were like two people working in a firm and it was just us, we could check each other's work, right? Like, so you can just think of all the different ways that you could do this. And the other thing, Rob, is you had said to me in a prior training that you did on this, that you can actually train a lower level, like a new person, to come in and collect all the data for you, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
then
no,
you come in and it's all there. So there's lots of different ways you can use this. And I hope that this is getting people's ideas kind of flowing here. So we did have one question that came in from Veronica. Can Rob address security issues with Google Drive /Docs/Sheets? And I was initially going to answer back and say that as long as you've invited your team in and they're in the closed system and everybody's got good passwords, you know, there wouldn't be a security issue. But do you have other thoughts of that,
Yeah,
Rob?
no, basically to me, Google Docs, Google and Microsoft, those two platforms are the two biggest players in the world. If anybody is fighting security, they're going to be it. So
Yeah.
if you've got good security, if you got good passwords and stuff saved in there, then I think everything's going to be fine. So to
the
me,
issues I think arise when people use the same password across multiple sites.
Yeah.
Or they don't train their staff to not click links in an email.
Yeah, and I mean, but at the end, at the end of the day, yeah, we could talk a whole series on security, but
we actually have courses on security that people can take. Yeah.
Yes. But to me, though, security is as good as your passwords at the end of the day. But that's the thing there. So, but that right there, though, is this idea that we're going to create a customized workflow, okay, with built-in information that's going to lead either new or even experienced people, but don't know where stuff is. So I'm directing you to exactly where you need to go. If there's information that you're going to need to know, I can put it here that's going to carry over month to month. And everything that you need to review is either on this page or one click away. Think of how much information I've showed you, and I've never gone to the browser. I've never browsed somewhere. It's just one click away. Okay. So
and no searching either. You didn't have to do any searching. That's the other thing. I think I'm hoping as people are watching this, they're thinking, he's not having to do any searching or
searching,
where is it? I mean, you waste so much time all day trying to do that, right? And
searching only works if you know what to search for.
And this also isn't email based. That's the other thing. You're not having to go into emails and try and find this and try and find that and all of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, so I'll give you a little bit more time back on the hour here, but what I'd like you to basically do is if you go to this right here.
I'm going to put the link right now, Rob.
thegrove.thinkific.com. If you go here.
It's in the chat.
Yep. And if you go into any of the courses and click enroll for free, it'll basically ask you to sign up. You're going to find courses that are step-by-step videos, and you're going to learn with an end in mind. There's going to be a community where you're going to be able to go and discuss things, and you're going to see a lot of events. So for example, one of the events that we have coming up, what is it, tomorrow, Allison? You want to talk about it?
Yeah, with Ron Baker. Yeah. We have Ron Baker coming on to talk about how to move your firm to a subscription model.
Yep,
which is super exciting if you think about it, because you then end up having regular income, and your clients aren't worried about calling you because they're not worried about a bill. Yep. So Ron he's going to probably blow your mind.
Yep. Now, when you come in here right now, there's a lot of Microsoft stuff, but don't worry, I'm quickly adding Google stuff as quickly as I can. So come back often, because we're going to be constantly adding new content. Not just me, but we've got a lot of people so much smarter than me coming in.
And your Google stuff is already in the community. Your Google stuff is already in there.
Some, but but pretty soon the courses are going to be in there, and it's going to be it's going to be right there. This is what it looks like. Go in there, sign up. Just come in, sign up. It's super simple. It's free. And this link right here, did you give them the link? This link too?
You know what? Let me just find it. You keep going. I'll find the link and I will share it.
And then this link, and this link right here is basically where you can come in and start with all the templates that I've started with, and keep coming back to this link, because I'm going to be adding and tweaking these, because as I'm evolving, I'm adding more and more back to these. So come back in and take a look at these, because they're constantly getting updated and added. But this right here is where you can come in and find all these templates.
All right, I've just shared that. If someone could confirm that they can click on the link and they can see it, that would be great, that they go to that page.
But basically, yeah. So really the next step is come to the Grove, learn how to basically do this. It's not there yet, but it's going to be there very, very quickly. Download these templates, customize it for your firm. So you're going to copy, you're going to make the template, you're going to customize it for your firm's workflow. Then you're going to copy that template for each client, customize it for each client, and then you'll make copies of the customized client each time. And your workflow will be embedded. It will save you time. You will be able to onboard inexperienced staff.
Yeah.
You are going to love this so much that next time you see me, you're going to come up and just say it changed your world, because seriously, that happens all the time. And this is why I'm doing this.
And we'll be at QuickBooks Connect if you want to tell Rob in person.
Yeah. And if you just follow this, people that go through there and they implement this, even though it's weird, it works.
Actually, that's why they want to join the community that goes with these courses on the Grove, because then they can ask you questions directly. So that's something also to know, everybody, that Rob and I are on the community pretty much all day. So if you have questions, you can ask us there. All right. So what do you think? Are we done? I think we're done.
Yep. Yeah. And then go to the community and go to the Grove for the how-tos. They will be coming, and check it out.
And we will send this recording out to you. Probably you'll get it tomorrow, with the links and the different things in it. And I hope you have a chance to go to the Grove today and just get your user ID password set up. It's super simple. Cruise around. Understand that we are very much, we're still effectively in soft launch on the Grove. So we've got our starter set of materials and everything in there. And then we're going to be building at a pretty rapid pace. So, and you can also contribute your own content as well. So don't be shy, ask and answer questions, introduce yourself, cruise around, take some courses, invite your colleagues in, because you can just share that link with them. And Rob, thank you. Every time I go through one of your trainings, I learn something new. So I want to thank you for taking your time and sharing today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us and all the lovely comments that are coming in on the chat. Okay, so we're going to end it now, give you a few minutes back before the top of the hour. And everybody enjoy the rest of their day. Thank you so much.
Bye.